Good morning, friends. In previous lecture, we discussed about unit number 1, that is SDL design. In unit number 1, we discuss about the hardware description language are of the two types, VHDL and Verilog. Out of that, we learn about the first type, that is VHDL, that is VHSIC We learn about how to write a program using the VHDL language and how to describe the electronic circuit operation using SDL. Now, in unit 2, we will discuss about the various digital design and its issues which are present on the VLSI design integrated circuits. Means as in unit number 1, in lecture number 1, we discuss about what is meant by integrated circuit, how we are fabricating the integrated circuits, what is the process to fabricate the integrated circuits. Also, we have seen the design flow of VLSI circuits. Now, what happens whenever we are going to fabricate these integrated circuits by using the VLSI technology? Number of issues occurs, and that issues we need to study to understand how to avoid that issues and what is the best way to what is the best possible way to find out the solution for that issues. Hence, in this unit, we will discuss about all the digital design issues which are present on system on chip. System on chip means where all the system where the whole system is implemented or embedded on a small chip, that is a microchip, we can say, means whole integrated circuit of the system is implemented on a chip. Hence, whenever the design becomes compact by using the VLSI technology, these design issues came into the picture, and designer has to work on that to find out the best possible solution. Hence, in this unit, we will talking about the design issues like metastability. What do you mean by metastability and its solution? What do you mean by noise margin, and what do you mean by fan out for the VLSI circuits? Before going to start today's lecture, again, let's see what are the contents of this unit 2. As the unit we just discuss about, the unit 2 is about the digital design issues. In this unit, we will learn about various digital design issues. These issues are metastability and solution. What do you mean by metastability? What is its solution? What do you mean by noise margin? What do you mean by fan out? Then most important part of the circuit, that is a clock. Hence, related to with the clock, what do you mean by clock skew? What are the different clock distribution techniques? What do you mean by clock jitter? Then what is supply and ground bounce, which is present on the chip? Then what are the power distribution technique and how to optimize the power? Then how to route the interconnects, hence interconnect routing techniques. Then what are the wire parasitics present on the system on chip? Then what are the different signal integrity issues? And most important part, how to design an IO architecture and pad design. These are the contents of unit number 2. Let's start with the first content, metastability. The metastability is very important design issue which occurs on the integrated circuit when we are implemented on the chip, means wafer. The metastability is nothing but whenever there are setup and hold time violation in any flip-flops, then that flip-flops enter into a state where its output is unpredictable. Means what happens on the chip, the circuit, the basic element of the digital design is nothing but all types of gates, then flip-flops, multiplexers, and some type memory like RAM. Out of these, by using the flip-flops and gates, most of the circuits are implemented. Hence, the flip-flops are synchronized with respect to the clock, and whenever the input reaches to that flip-flop, it should reach or it should satisfy the hold setup and hold time. And if there are any violation in setup and hold time when they reaches to the flip-flop, at that time flip-flop output goes into the unpredictable state, and this state is known as metastable state, or you can say a quasi-stable state. And at the end of this metastable state, flip-flop settles down either 1 or 0, means it cannot find. Sometimes it can settle to the 1 or sometimes it can settle to the 0. Means it is in unpredictable state, and it continuously switches between the 1 and 0, 1 and 0. And this process is known as a metastability. In below two waveform, you can understand the concept of metastability. In first figure, it is about input stable, means input D is stable during the setup and hold time. First waveform is of clock. Clock is made high after some delay. After that, at that time, input D is reaching to the clock. So our input D is reaching to the flip-flop, and Q will change the state when clock switches from logic 0 to logic 1, means at rising edge of the clock it switches at rising edge of the clock, output Q is assigned to the D. Okay, this is a simple example of D flip-flop. In D flip-flop, output is equal to input when clock makes high, or when clock switches from logic 0 to logic 1, means at rising edge of the clock output is equal to input. And when this input reaches to the flip-flop, at that time, during when clock switches from 0 to 1, before this it should satisfy the setup and hold time, means our input should stable before that input reaches to the flip-flop and clock makes the high. That hold time is nothing but T setup plus T hold. T setup is the setup time and T hold is hold time. This minimum time during this period, means T setup plus T hold, during this period input D should be constant or stable. Then and then Q will switch from previous input to the current D input. Okay, hence this is the normal case, and if this normal case happens, flip-flop never goes into the metastable state. But what happens sometimes, in the second figure we have explained, the input is changing during the setup and hold time, means during the T setup and T hold, input D is going to be changed either from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1. Hence, because of this, the flip-flop cannot predict, because during the rising edge of the clock the input is going to switch, it is not stable, hence output is going to be changed either 1 or 0. Hence this is the state where the output of the flip-flop goes into the unpredictable, whether the previous input is 1 or 0, or it is switching between 1 and 0. Hence it should be this condition is nothing but known as a metastability. Now, what are the causes of metastability? As we discussed about, whenever the setup and hold time violation occurs, the metastability occurs. Now we have to see when the signal violate these timing requirements, means when the signal violates setup and hold time. Let's discuss what are the causes. First, when input signal is an asynchronous signal. Generally, when input signal is asynchronous signal, most of the time it can violate the setup and hold time. Second, when the clock skew or slew is too much, means when the clock skew is higher, we will discuss the concept of clock skew in the after some lectures in the same unit. Hence, when the clock skew or slew is too much, means rise time and fall time are more than the tolerable values. At that time, signal will violate the hold time and setup time. Sometimes when we are interfacing the two domains which are operating at the two different frequency or at the same frequency but with different phases, means when we interface the two different domains which are operated at the two different frequencies or at the same frequency but the different means, because of mismatching of the clock frequency also, this setup and hold time also violates. And sometimes when combinational delay such that flip-flop data input changes in the critical window. Okay, sometimes the delay, combinational delay, means delay due to the gates, is such that flip-flop data input changes in the critical window. Critical window is nothing but the setup and hold window. And these are the reasons due to which metastability occurs. What is the solution? How we can avoid the metastable state? Okay. Hence, here designer can tolerate the metastability by making sure that clock period is long enough to allow for resolution of the quasi stable state and for the delay of whatever the logic in the path to the next flip-flop. Okay, means we can enlarge the clock period to adjust this setup and hold time of the signal, but this process is rarely practical. Means we can, this is a very rarely used to avoid this solution, avoid this problem. Yes, what is the most common way? The most common way is to add the synchronizer at the input, mean between the input and the means at the between the input of flip-flop and input of sorry, between the input of flip-flop and port of the flip-flop, means to adding the synchronizer. Now how many synchronizer you can add? Okay, again they means we can add 1, 2 or 3, but let's see why one flip-flop synchronizer is better or not, or why we are using the 2 flip-flop synchronizer and 3 flip-flop synchronizer. The 1 flip-flop synchronizer. Here in 1 flip-flop synchronizer, 1 clock period for the out signal to resolve or propagate to the combinational logic, and it will satisfy the setup time constraint of the system D flip-flop. Means the because of adding the extra flip-flop at the input stage of the flip-flop, we are going to add 1 extra clock period, and because of this the input appears as a stable before reaching to the input port of the D flip-flop. But there are some disadvantages here. Disadvantage that if there are small variation in the output also before reaching to that flip-flop, it will generate the large swing in the MTBF value, means mean time before synchronization value, mean time before synchronizer of the flip-flop, this MTBF value going to violate, and because of this again metastability state appears. Hence, to avoid this, most suitable way is to use the 2 flip-flop synchronizers. Means you can use the 2 flip-flop to avoid the disadvantage of 1 flip-flop synchronizer because of small change in variation in the input, which leads to the large change in swing for the MTBF value. Hence, you can use the 2 flip-flop synchronizer. Sometimes for some circuit we can use the 3 flip-flop synchronizer. Here again 1 extra flip-flop is required to resolve the metastability condition. Sometimes there are again some conditions metastability occurs because of 2 flip-flop synchronizer case. Then you can add 1 more synchronizer to resolve this condition. These are the diagrams where synchronizer is shown. First circuit is about the no synchronizer, means no flip-flop is added. Okay, here metastability condition chances are more. In second, 1 flip-flop synchronizer. Here 1 extra D flip-flop is added where clock is provided common to both, and a synchronized input is given to the D flip-flop, and then output of the D flip-flop is given to the combinational logic, and again output of combinational logic is given to the final D flip-flop. Then in second case 2 flip-flop synchronizer, means 2 D flip-flops are used, and in third case 3 flip-flop synchronizer, 3 flip-flops are used. Okay, this is about the solution of metastability. Now next step is to understand the noise margin. Okay, what do you mean by noise margin? Okay, the noise margin is nothing but it is allowable noise that input can accept without going to be a change in the output, means without affecting the output. How many change or tolerance in the input noise is acceptable is known as a noise margin. Okay, we can also define the noise margin as it determines, means allowable variation in the input voltage of gate so that output is not affected. Means it is a allowable variation in the input voltage, means in what range the input whatever the input voltage going to be changed, the output is not affected, and this is known as the noise margin. Now how we can define this noise margin? or what are the ways to define this noise margin? The noise margin are defined by using the two parameters, low noise margin and high noise margin. The low noise margin NML, it is nothing but the difference between the VIL max and VOL max. Now we will discuss what is the VIL max and what is the VOL max. And high noise margin is NMH is equal to VOH mean and VIH mean. Okay, now here in below diagram you can see the two levels, two characteristics are given, input characteristics and output characteristics. In input characteristics, for logic low input range, the highest level is nothing but the VIL max. Okay, means for input characteristics, high level of input for logic low value, high level of input for logic low value is defined by using the VIL max, and for the same high level of logic high input, sorry, low level of logic high input is defined by using the VIH min. Similar for output characteristics, there are the two levels, VOL max and VOH min. The VOL max is the high level of logic low output range. High level of logic low output range is defined as VOL max, and low level of logic high output range is defined by VOH min. Is by using these four parameters, we can calculate the low noise margin and high noise margin. Hence, the low noise margin means the our logic low input range is between, it should be between the VIL max minus VOL means. Okay, means it is allowable variation. VIL max minus VOL mean. It is allowable variation for the low level input, and high level input you can say VOH mean minus VOH mean minus VIH mean. This is the allowable variation in the logic high input. This is about the noise margin. And the next most important design issue is a fan out. I think all of you familiar with the concept fan out in second year. Okay, again let's discuss about this. What it means by fan out? Fan out means the maximum number of input that can be connected to the one output. Means at the output of gate, how can you at the output of combinational logic or gate, how many number of inputs you can drive. Okay, means maximum number of inputs that can be connected to the output is nothing but the fan out. Now on what factor this fan out depends? Means how many inputs can drive the output of combinational logic or gate is nothing but fan out. Now it depends on the factors like IOH max, IOL mean, and input current of driven gate. Is what is the input current level of gates, that is also important to drive this number of inputs. Then high level of output current, that is IOH max, and low level of output current, that is a maximum value of high level output voltage and low level output voltage. These also plays an important role for deciding the fan out. Means number of input that can be divided by output. Then again II max, it is the maximum current that flows through input gate of any state. That is also plays important role. Maximum current flowing to the input of the gate at any state, it also decides the fan out. As we know that the CMOS technology, which is the heart of VLSI circuit, it has very high input impedance, and therefore the input current is very small. Because of very high resistance, the very small leakage current drives this CMOS circuit. Hence, let's take example of fan out. For high computing series CMOS family, the IOH max we have given 0.02 milliampere, IOL max is 0.02 milliampere, then II max is 1 microampere. Hence, in this case, when the IOH max, IOL max are 0.02 milliampere, and II max, which is the maximum current flowing through the input gate of the state, is 1 microampere. In that case, high state fan out is 20 and low state fan out are also 20. Means maximum 20 input it can drive. This is about the fan out, and this is about some design issues which we'll discuss in the today's lecture. In next lecture we will discuss the next issue like clock skew, clock distribution technique, and many more. Thank you.